as we were just talking about, seems like you had to revisit a lot to write this book, and a lot of painful stuff to write it too, right?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy as I thought, until you really start diving in, to, the stories and the life and the ups and downs. And I wasn't really ready to write a book, but the more I thought about it, the older I'm getting, I just felt I need to do this. I need to do really for me.
Was part of it about kind of setting the record straight on
Kind
certain
of,
things?
kind of. There's so much stuff out there, about my life, about Elvis's life, about our life, about, people in our lives. And this is the real thing, this is my life, so.
It's unflinchingly honest. I mean, I think you answer just about every question a reader would have, indelicate or not.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I did for sure go through the things that have been asked by others, and I tried to think of the things, that I felt I really needed to cover.
Yeah.
So it wasn't easy, for sure. There were times when I just thought, I don't think I'm going to do this. I feel like I'm exposing myself. I'm saying too much. It's too much of my, because I'm very private.
Yeah.
So, but then I went back to, if I don't, someone else is going to write a book, and I'm not going to be happy with it because it's not the truth, or they didn't live it, or meaning live the life. I did get through it, and I'm happy I did.
Happy it's over.
Yeah, there won't be another book, so come and read it.
Did you learn anything about yourself while you were writing it?
Oh, boy. Yes, I did. I didn't know how much I could tell because I am so private. But I felt I want to be the one, not somebody else.
You start the book really near at the end of your divorce to Elvis. Why start there?
Why start there? It was a good place to start for me. It was a good place to start because, as we know in the book, how I go through it, and people will realize, what I went through in my life with Elvis. I think I just wanted them to take the ride with me. And no, that Elvis was the love of my life. He was the man. I mean, he was an amazing human being. He, I met him at 14 years old and never thought, that I would be married to him in any way. My time with him in Germany, where we met, was, maybe 4 or 5 months. When he left to come to the States after, serving his time in the military, I thought that was it. It was hard to be saying goodbye and waving goodbye. Never think I would ever see him again. And then all of a sudden, I didn't hear from him for quite a few months because he had so much with Colonel Parker, things that he had to do. Finally, I get a telephone call, and it's him. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in Germany, and he's in LA. I heard the phone ring. My parents didn't, thankfully. And, and I knew it was him. I hadn't heard from him, like I said, in quite a while, 3 months, 4 months.
The two of you really stayed uncommonly close, really.
Mm-hmm.
He never remarried, you never remarried. What are we to make of that?
We couldn't find anyone else.
Well, the bar's pretty high for both sides.
True. I mean, I've gone on dates, and I've gone with a few people at lengthy time. Of course, I have a son, a daughter, and of course, I did want children and more children. Well, I only have 2, but I loved being a mother. Losing Elvis was the hardest thing to get over, knowing that he wasn't there. The phone call, just a phone call away, was no longer.
Yeah. And there were lots of those phone calls, right?
Mm-hmm. There was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the only problem was at 3 or 4 in the morning. I had
Because
school
that was
to
the
go
schedule,
to.
right? Yeah. As you were talking about how his story and your story is often told by people who never met him and weren't there, and with rare exceptions, maybe the Elvis movie and the Priscilla movie, they usually got it wrong. In what way do you think they got the man of Elvis wrong?
Gosh, Elvis was so outgoing and yet so private, and a lot of fun, a lot of laughter. He had the best laugh ever. I mean, when he started laughing, we all started laughing. We never knew what we were laughing about. So it was just watching him have a good time and laughing.
I think a lot of people see him as kind of this one-dimensional figure, and a lot of that surprised me in the book when you talk about what he was reading and how he
Yes.
read voraciously and talked
Yeah.
about history and religion and everything.
Absolutely. He was captivated by religion and finding out, you know, he would read about Jesus and about what Jesus went through, being Jesus. Kind of related to that. I don't mean in any way that
He thought he was God.
God or Jesus, but reading the books and reading the Bible and reading how he suffered, meaning Jesus, he related to that in many ways.
Was that in an effort to kind of find a purpose for
Yes,
him?
I think, yes. Oh yeah, he'd preach the Bible. He would have the Bible and he would come out with stuff and read it, and we would all be there listening. And I mean, it was great for a while, but it got to get a little boring.
We've heard this one.
But yeah, he'd have all of us gather and some fans that would come around. He'd bring in and start talking about the Bible and get up and had the Bible in his hands. I mean, you'd think he was preaching, but it was enjoyable.
Do you think that comes from his Gospels
Yes.
days?
Yeah, I do. I do. In fact, in Memphis, many times on Sundays, because he couldn't go to church. Of course, it was all about Jesus, not him, he said. The fans are going to be coming out to see him. So we would watch through the windows.
Yeah.
Two of us standing, watching the prayers, watching, the people and how gross they were, and he was happy. In the South, people are very religious, much more so, I think, than here.
Yeah.
And everyone still goes to church, dresses up, women wear their hats. It's really, really nice to see.
There's a moment where you talk about you guys just standing outside a church and listening as they sang. I guess it was his favorite song,
Yeah,
right?
that's right, yeah.
How Great Thou Art.
How great thou art. Yeah.
And you remember that moment.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, we're like kids. We were like two kids looking in the window and listening to the preach and listening to the chorus. And of course, he'd sing a little bit too. He couldn't sing too loud, of course, because guess what? The preacher wouldn't have any more people sitting down. They'd be out with Elvis.
Right. Strikes me,
It was
though.
fun.
It strikes me that you couldn't really sing those gospel songs the way he did if you didn't have a pretty strong faith.
Yes, yeah. And I think, when he sang the gospel songs, you can feel that he was living the song. And I put, a lot of times I put the albums on, and boy, it's very emotional because I, knew how he felt about the songs and knew he was living it as he was singing the songs. So, yeah, he was very unique in so many ways.
I don't want to dwell on it, but when you get to the point about the day that Elvis died, I didn't know, maybe this was out there before, I didn't know that your daughter was there that day and saw him. That must have been
She called me, yeah.
life-changing
Yeah,
thing to see.
yeah. Yes, and in many ways I'm thankful, in many ways, that she was there. She got to be with him and saw him for the last time, thank God. And I went, of course, when she called, and Joe Esposito called. A few of the guys called to let me know. So I got on a plane that very day and left, and to go, especially to be with her and her grief, and of course myself. It was probably the hardest thing a mother could really be involved in.
Because you can't make the hurt go away.
That's right. You can't make the hurt go away.
You talk very openly in the book about his use of drugs, but he thought that they were legal drugs because
That's
they
right.
were all prescribed.
Mhm.
But was there anybody around him who could
No.
convince him to stop?
No, you couldn't convince Elvis on anything unless that he believed in it or, thought about it and thought
You
you're
tried to
right.
bring it up.
Oh, yeah. Yes, and, you know, I, he but he had taken them for a long time before I even met him. Even in Germany, when
Yeah.
I met him, he was already taking uppers and downers and sleeping pills because he could not sleep.
You talk about how the doctors would basically give him anything that he wanted.
Anything.
So
I
they
was
were
there.
really enabling
Mhm.
it, right?
Very much. He was Elvis. You're not going to say no to Elvis. But back in the day, you felt it was a normal thing. So many people that we knew was taking sleeping pills, taking uppers, and, like it was an everyday thing
Yeah.
for people to do.
When was it that you really noticed the change in him, though? When you said he looked bloated and
Yes, bloated, the slurring of his words, being in Vegas on stage, and you could see it coming, meaning he'd sometimes forget the words to a song.
and that wasn't him, right?
No, my gosh, no. Mm-mm.
Did
No.
he have a sense that he was deteriorating? That
Yeah, I think he was. He was very bloated.
But did he
Couldn't
know?
lose.
Did he know?
There's part of me that thinks he did because he was not happy. He was not living, wasn't doing the movies that he wanted to do. He wanted to do movies that said something, that meant something. The movies that other actors were getting that were movies that he loved, that were serious movies.
Yeah.
And because Colonel Parker had him, because first of all of his movies, the fans all went, people went to see his movies, all of them. And Colonel would tell him, well, look at, the theater's full. What else do you want? And he goes, I want to do a good movie. I want to feel good about the movie that I do. And I said, I don't feel good with these movies. It's stupid. And it's the same thing. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy.
Boy sings.
Yeah, and boy sings, that's right.
Yeah.
That was not Elvis Presley.
Huh.
It was much, much deeper.
He saw so many accolades during his life, but then so many of them came after he was gone.
Yes.
And then very often you were the one who would step in to receive those accolades.
Well, yes, because I didn't want him to just melt away. This is Elvis Presley. He was beloved, not just in the States, but all over the world. And to have him just slip away, and all of a sudden people forget, children would never know. Only they would learn, of course, about Elvis because he was famous, but they now go to Graceland, and kids go all the time now. They love the story, and it puts a smile on my face because he would never believe it. The
You don't
kids were
think?
coming, no. Mm-mm.
Did he think about how he'd be remembered, or if he'd be remembered?
I think he was more afraid of not being remembered.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think he'd be doing had he lived?
Oh gosh, I think, he loved what he was doing. He loved to sing.
Yeah.
And he just wanted good material. He wanted good material that, that would be, something that he could deliver and loved. Gospel was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funeral that day, I remember, I guess I was 12, I guess. I remember watching it at my kitchen table with my mom, and she was crying, and my dad came in, and he was crying. And it was a national event.
It's a day we all remember, all of us who lived and have lived, and even now.
Is there anything about that day or those days that you haven't told anybody?
Yeah, definitely. It was hard to even talk. It was hard to believe. You never thought Elvis would go first before anyone else, before his father.
Yeah.
His father was still alive. His grandmother was still alive. And who would ever have thought that this would happen, that we'd lose him. The whole country, not just the USA, but other countries as well. It was unbelievable, the line of people that came to Elvis's funeral from all different countries of the world. To this day, it's just unbelievable, the love that people had for him, and the loss for them as well, because he meant so much to you know, he meant so much to them and their children.
Did you have a sense then that you sort of were going to be the keeper of this legacy?
No, I didn't. Mm-mm.
But you have.
No, yeah, I know.
Your
yeah,
whole
but,
life.
But I never, you know, I was close to his father, and he did give me little, I mean, how could I say, a little credit in a lot of things that I did with Elvis and what he loved and how I cared for him. But never thought that I would be the one that would take the estate.
It's a big burden, though, for
Big.
you and your daughter to carry.
Mm-hmm. But people came.
Yeah.
And that's what it was all about. And they brought their children, and now their children and
Yeah.
grandchildren are coming to Graceland and talking about how their parents brought them there when they were little. It's really beautiful.
I would imagine as a mom, raising Elvis's daughter would be difficult enough, but doing it as a single mom, that's another thing entirely, I imagine.
My daughter was not easy. She knew she was Elvis Presley's daughter, and she used it. I said to Lisa, you can't be telling people that you're Elvis's daughter. Now, mind you, she's only like 5 or 6 years old, 7 years old.
Yeah.
But she did use it, and she goes, why not? It's true. I go, because I don't think, I mean, I don't, you have a great personality. You're fun to be with. I don't think you need to use your, I don't think you need to use him, you know.
You really wanted her to have as much of a normal life
I did. I
as she could.
really did, yes. I didn't want to take anything from her, but I just said, you know, Lisa, let other people find out for themselves that you're his daughter.
Yeah.
She goes, like who? I said, like their mother or their dads. He goes, yeah, but they're young, and they don't, I don't know if they're not going to, tell them about my dad, and I go to school with them. So she really wasn't easy. Okay, oh my God. I said, well, I just don't want it to look like you're bragging, okay, because that's not good.
When it came to dating, though, you both sort of had the same problem in that, I mean, who's going to measure up to Elvis?
It's true. I never talked about Elvis with any of the guys.
And if he called when someone was there, you never told anybody?
No, because he would call at 3 or 2:30 in the morning, and I'd slip out of bed. Thank God a couple of them were deep sleepers.
But that's extraordinary, though, that the connection was still so there that you could be...
And I could never tell him there was anyone there, but he never asked me.
He never did?
No,
Really?
no. He didn't want me to say, yeah, he's laying in bed waiting for me.
That's very funny. When it came to Graceland, it was basically, as I understand it, kind of hemorrhaging money at that time. But you made it. You were very insistent on the fact that you weren't going to sell it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because why?
Pardon me?
Because why?
Oh my God, because Elvis loved that home. I mean, he would bring people in, fans in. He loved that home. I just, in my heart, I just had to figure out a way to keep it. And that's when I had to roll my sleeves up and start asking questions on who I should go to. Because I really wasn't in the business world at all.
Was it hard to make the decision to open it up to the public?
Very much so, absolutely.
Very private thing.
Very, yes, it was his home, and I'm thinking, oh my God, people are going to come, in his home. Not that, just, in droves. I mean,
Yeah.
it it was hard, but we're not going to lose, I didn't want to lose Graceland. That was Lisa's. And I even thought, my God, what would my daughter say to me if she asked me, Mom, why did we sell Graceland? Why isn't that my home anymore? I couldn't bear to have that.
You wrote in the book that when you're there, you still feel a spirit there.
I do.
Still?
Absolutely. I walk in the front door and I can hear, Scylla, is that you?
Really?
That he says when he was upstairs. Oh yeah, no, it's very eerie. It's really eerie for me. But when I go in, it's like it's all come alive. It's like, oh my God, this happened, that happened. Things I did that was silly happened. I mean, I would, I tried to cook. And I tried to cook. Surprise Elvis. I was making spaghetti, and he loves spaghetti. And he invited a couple of the guys to have dinner with us. And it's time, and Elvis is asking where the dinner is because it's been like 45 minutes, nothing on the table. And I had forgot to cook the spaghetti. I just made the meatballs. I was so nervous. I couldn't even think right, because here I am. He loves spaghetti. I'm trying to figure out, no, I had them there. I just didn't boil them. They were laying in the pot. But so Elvis is saying, Scylla, he called me Scylla, where's the food? I'm going, just a minute, let me go get it. And it wasn't done. And then I'm a nervous wreck. I have the other guys sitting at the table, and they're now teasing me. Well, you'll never cook again, which I never did.
You, to that point, you talk a lot in the book about essentially being really at least at home, the only woman that was around. You were just surrounded by Elvis and all his guys.
All the guys, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely. I was one of the guys.
Yeah. But it also left you with no other women to talk to, right? I mean.
No, it was the guys. All in all, it was a different life, a fast life, a loving life, and a life that you really had to get used to. And that was it. You had to get used to it, or you're out.
How did you find your own identity, I guess? I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons you left the marriage in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I lost myself, to be honest with you. I realized, gosh, I want to do something. I want to work. Well, Elvis really didn't want me to work. He said I didn't need to work, but I did need to do something.
But the urge or the sense to kind of break free and be you was big enough that you left the most high wattage marriage on the planet at the time, and people really were shocked. Why would you leave Elvis?
Because I had to find me. Who was I? I was Elvis's wife, and that's all people are around me for. And I go, I have to be me. I have to be, I have to find out really. I'm still young. I'm 21. I'm still trying to find out who I am, what I can do. Can I do something? Am I going to work? I want to work. I want to do. I want to prove to others that I'm not just a wife. And I just needed to find out life. I was living Elvis's life. It was all about him. I mean, I was very much in love with Elvis, very much. But
Strikes me you still are.
I am still very much in love with him. I didn't leave him because I didn't love him. I just couldn't live the life. I mean, with 6 guys, that were cheating on their wives. I'm watching this, and I know their wives. I'm best friends with them. I just couldn't live a life of a lie. And meaning a lie that their wife asked me something. Do I know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Believe me, I mean, people don't understand. It's Elvis Presley. Yes, it doesn't mean I didn't love him. I still love him to this day.
What got you to enroll in acting classes in the first place?
Oh, how did I get into acting classes? Oh, because I needed to be free from myself, meaning I was quite shy. I was actually very shy, believe it or not.
You speak of those years when you were on Dallas as being some of the happiest years of your life, yeah?
Yeah, I loved it. I love playing Jenna Wade. You know, you're out of yourself. You can be someone else.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I enjoyed it very much. I liked Patrick Duffy. He was great. He was my love interest, along with a few other girls, but
Right.
I had to put up with it.
Was it tough when it ended?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
it
imagine.
was. Everyone was very sad about leaving. We all really bonded together. It was wonderful. Yeah.
Is it true that you really turned down Charlie's Angels?
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah. I did not want to be a Charlie's Angels because you do a Charlie's Angels and that's how you looked at in real life. And I did not want to look like a Charlie's Angels or be associated in that, in that, how could I say it, as a Charlie's Angels girl. So I turned that down. I turned a few shows down.
Naked Gun comes along, and it's still. I told you before I was watching some of the scenes. They're so funny. Were you worried because you'd never really done comedy before, right?
No, I've never done comedy. No. And I did tell that to the director. I said, I'm not a comedian. He laughed and he said, Priscilla, we're not looking for a comedian. You'll have, we'll get, you'll know your lines and everything, but we think you're perfect for this role. And I go, I haven't really done a lot of roles though. But I had a wonderful relationship with him. He was such a nice man. Him and his wife were wonderful.
And you said Leslie Nielsen was.
Leslie Nielsen was great. He could not have been nicer.
Yeah.
I really miss him a lot. We had lots of talks.
Some of the more interesting parts of the book that aren't necessarily about you are about some of the other celebrities in your life. You've been around celebrity forever, but Michael Jackson was something different, you said, for you.
Yeah.
In what way?
Because I felt he was very clever. I had read things about, Michael, and I didn't dislike Michael. When my daughter told me about Michael, and that he approached her, and she liked him a lot, and we were getting ready to go to Hawaii, and I thought, I gotta talk to her while we're in Hawaii. I'm not going for this at all. And so we got there. About the third day, we're walking on the beach, and she said, Mom, Michael wants to get married. And that is when I said, Lisa, I'm not really for it. And she goes, why not? I go, who are you? Michael Jackson, Lisa Presley. And I knew that Michael loved attention, which he did. And he hung out with a lot of people with big names.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I knew that's the reason why. They didn't even know each other that long. So I did tell her that. I didn't want to rub it in. I didn't want to keep saying it. I already said it. She knew how I felt. And then she found out for herself. And she actually came to me and said, Mom, you were right.
That kiss on the MTV Music Awards.
Yeah. He figured all that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was all just.
She told me she was worried about it. She goes, Michael wants to, wanted to give me a kiss, at the show. And I'm going, oh boy. Yeah, that was all planned.
Really?
But now in meeting him, he came to Memphis. He was sweet. He had that little voice.
Yeah.
And I asked Lisa after, he had gone back and we were still in Memphis. I asked her, does he really talk that way? And she goes, no. He has another voice.
The other person that I found interesting was you weren't really big on O.J. Simpson when you were doing the Naked Gun movies, were you?
No.
What was it about him?
I just didn't like his demeanor at all. He was really full of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that, and I didn't really want to be around him. Yeah. And then, we know, of course, what happened, and I just went, wow, I could see that happening. OJ did whatever he wanted, said whatever he wanted, did whatever he wanted. He could be very, very nice, but I just felt something about him in the way he was with his wife, and it didn't sit well with me.
I never really put it together before you wrote it, but just how many of the Presleys have had to bury their children. When you listed off everybody, it's everybody almost, including you, most recently.
Yeah. That's hard to take. That's reality right there. And there's a couple of wives left, a couple. And that's really about it. I still have a son. I can't think of things like that. I'm trying to keep positive. I'm trying not to let my past, get in the way of me raising him, or I've raised him and he's on his way to kind of searching for his own, his own things and what he wants to do. He's still searching. Love him to death. He's a great kid, a great, great kid. And he struggles being who he is as well. He doesn't, he doesn't like the limelight. He's very private.
The death of Lisa Marie must have been so fresh, really, when you were writing this. And obviously it was toward the end of the book, because probably you were getting close to being done with the book at that point. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine what you had to go through.
Still going through it.
Yeah.
Still hard to believe. All the memories come forward, all the laughter, all the fun, all the issues. But that phone call from Danny, her ex-husband, was, my life just stood still. I couldn't even believe the words.
It seems like you've lived with so much grief, really, in your life. And you even write in the book that you're never going to outlive it.
Yeah, no, no.
So what do you do with it all?
I have to live life. I have a son. I have grandchildren now, and I want to and have to be there for them.
But not many people talk about Scientology, but you're pretty open about talking about it. How did it help?
I got a lot out of Scientology. I did. There's a lot of good in Scientology.
What did it do for you?
It opened up my mind in a lot of ways of looking at things, a lot of ways of working things out, a lot of ways of, looking at the bigger picture. I learned a lot. I didn't have a bad time there.
But you left eventually, not necessarily because of Scientology, just because. Why?
My daughter left.
Yeah.
And I started looking at it and thinking, gosh, I want to do a lot more things. I mean, when you're in Scientology, you're pretty much devoted to Scientology. And I had been asked to do a lot of things and movies and things that I did, and I just needed freedom to be able to do it right then, and not have to worry about going to class or, making sure I put my time in. But I never had a bad experience with Scientology, like some people have. I really want to enjoy my life at this time. I don't want to be someone that, is unhappy or, gee, this happened to me. Things happen to everybody in life. I now can look at things in a bigger picture. I enjoy people, I enjoy being around people, but I also like my privacy as well. Yeah, I decide for myself what I want to do, when I want to do it, if I want to do it. And I feel I'm in a really good place.
How big a part of Elvis, how big a chunk of your life does he still occupy?
Oh, he's still around.
He's still around.
He's still around. Oh, yeah. There are things that happen, and I go, God, what would Elvis would have done here? Or I know what Elvis would have done here. Oh, my gosh. He'd knock that guy out in a second.
You said in the book when Lisa Marie did decide to separate from Michael Jackson that you could hear Elvis's reaction.
True. No. Yeah, I'm living a good life. I'm very positive. I look at the good things in life, not the bad things. I think that's the way we all should live. We've all been through bad things. We've all had to struggle. But you know, when you stop and think about it, we're not here that long.
Yeah.
We're not. All of a sudden we're older and we think, wow, I don't want to hold on to bad things. I don't want to hold on to, you know, things that are in the past that happened. I want to move forward. And I have great friends and enjoy very much being around them, but I also like my privacy very, very much. And I'm alone a lot, but I get along with myself. I don't talk back.
What do you want people to take away from the story of your life, or at least this second chapter of your life, I guess, after Elvis?
Oh my gosh, I've been through a lot. I worked through it. I feel like I'm a better person. Not that I was a bad person, but more educated, more living life, more coming out more, enjoy people. I feel more comfortable, as they say, in your shoes. Is that right? Now, I'm able to write the book and feel it was like freedom when I wrote the book and finished it. It was like, wow, I can't believe I got through this. And I hope people enjoy it. You know, it was a good life. I have no regrets whatsoever.